Taurus, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started here for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. See what messages we have for the week ahead. Now, keep in mind these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure you check out your other placements, take the messages that resonate, and leave the rest behind. All right, my friends, let's get started here. What is the energy around the week ahead for Taurus? Higher power. Okay, so whatever's going on right now, Taurus, this is all divinely planned. So this makes me think of the idea that we get divinely redirected, right? We get shuffled to and from based on our own energy, you know, the energy that we're holding, and also this idea that sometimes things are not meant for us. And so we have to trust that higher power, that source, that force that moves us around based on our own energy and what ultimately serves us. And so this may be a week of recognizing that and sort of seeing that even if it doesn't mesh with what you had planned, to trust it, you know, and to sort of be flexible with whatever it is that you're working on, because you may experience your higher power sort of shifting you into a new lane or a new direction this week. This is very interesting. Let's jump into the tarot cards and see what messages we will receive for Taurus. What is your higher power guiding you towards this week, Taurus? What is the nature of this redirection? Or, you know, it's interesting when that higher power card appears, it's really a time to sort of surrender and trust and to feel that oneness, that we are part of the energy that forms everything. And so it only makes sense that we would be subject to the same force because we're made of that force. So it's very, very intriguing. Okay, for Taurus, we see the Two of Swords. Okay, intriguing. So you do have a decision to make. There is something happening for you this week that's going to require your own decision here. And again, to be the King of Swords energy is one that is very flexible, strategic, analytical, can look at a situation and adapt and be flexible. The King of Swords is able to adapt to situations based on what information is in front of, what information do you have? You know, it's interesting. I feel like seeing the Two of Swords, and now we see the Moon card as well, that tells me that there is sort of some fear or anxiety around some situation that you're needing to make a decision. And look at that. Would you look at that? There's the Queen of Swords. Second reading today where we've seen the divine couple, the King and the Queen of Swords. Capricorn had the King and Queen of Cups appear. So this is interesting. You may be needing to make a decision. And look who's on the bottom of the deck. It's the Hangman in reverse. So just like I was saying as I started this reading, this is a week to sort of surrender to and be flexible, right? Surrendering to the higher power and really sort of being in that space where you can embrace the unknown instead of fearing it, instead of feeling anxious about it, because that is shifting your own energy. Like I was saying at the beginning, this force of your higher power, it's responding to your energy and trying to navigate you towards what's for you. And you might be feeling like you're needing to know the truth about something this week, and that there's a part of you here that is maybe having a difficult time accepting that sometimes you won't know the truth, and you just have to embrace the mystery and be flexible. You know what I mean? This is a very interesting time of wanting clarity on something and sort of having to sort of blend in between the material world where you're seeking answers and you want to know the truth about something and you feel like there's something hidden here, and then taking that and blending it with the spiritual that says, I trust, I surrender, I trust the divine timing of things, I trust and I'm willing to surrender to it, is very interesting. That Magician in reverse makes me think that you're struggling with this because you're sort of questioning things and it's blocking your creative energy. You may have just experienced something that sort of led to an epiphany. It may have led to needing some healing from something. And as a result, it's almost like you're at a place right now where you're not entirely confident that you can overcome obstacles. But at the same time, I think that lack of confidence could be coming because you're trying to get your agenda through. And it's like your higher power is saying, but I've got something else in mind. And it's interesting. You're very determined and very focused on achieving what it is that you desire. And it may be that there's something else going on here that you don't see the full picture of. And I say that because of that Moon card. And now I see the Seven of Cups. So it's very interesting. You're trying to solve a mystery right now. You're trying to solve a mystery. You're seeking the truth. You want to know how this is going to all work out. And it's like your higher power is saying, trust me, surrender to this. And it's interesting seeing the Seven of Cups because sometimes the Seven of Cups makes it seem like we have the power to choose any option that we want. But it's interesting because sometimes not choosing is the choice. Sometimes looking at these options and saying, actually, you know what, none of these feel right for me. We know the Eight of Cups is walking away. And so sometimes the choice to be made when you see the Seven of Cups is that none of these choices are the choice. Interesting, Taurus. I feel like there's a lot of conflict around something. It could be with a partner because we do see the King and Queen of Swords here. You might be seeking the truth from your partner or something that involves a partner if you're in a partnership. And it's almost like you're having sort of a moment where your emotions are getting the better of you here with this Page of Swords in reverse, or Page of Wands in reverse, excuse me. And you might be sort of angry at your maker. It's almost like things aren't going the way you want them to go. And that's causing you to sort of not trust this, not trust the timing of it. You're convinced there must be more to this than, and there could be more to this, but it's interesting. It's almost like by holding on to things that aren't meant for us and not trusting our higher power, we end up blocking ourselves. I can't help but wonder if you're meant to be collaborating elsewhere when I see this Three of Pentacles, because there does seem to be this like battle of egos around you, and it's not serving you to stay there in that battle. You're being directed sort of to shift your energy to be more focused and determined instead of so opposing, and that's putting it lightly. Page of Rods in reverse can be a time where we're almost having a fit. We're almost having a tantrum. We're sort of stomping our feet and saying, no, I want it like this. And it's like your higher power is like, trust me, please. I've got a plan here. And so this seems to be a week to just not look at things on the material level, to sort of expand it, to blend in the spiritual so that you don't lose that piece of what's going on here. There's the King of Cups in reverse. Again, an energy that says your emotions are getting the better of you, and you may be trying to control a situation that's outside of your control. The King of Cups in reverse to me, again, is more drama, right? Kind of like that Page of Rods. You're in a place where you're being triggered here, and you really need to sort of focus back on what makes you feel healed and at peace with this Star card. And it could involve sort of shifting things into a place where there's the Emperor. You're tapping into your self-care this week, and making sure that you're doing okay with this idea of taking action and leading circumstances in a way that says, I am taking action towards whatever I feel I need to do right now, but I'm also not going to sort of abandon things if I feel like I'm being moved into a different direction. I'll go with the flow. Does that make sense, Taurus? It's like this mix of taking action and at the same time being very flexible with outcomes. So taking action, but being flexible with the outcome, and trusting that if something doesn't work out, that doesn't mean you just abandon ship. You just try something else. You know what I mean? Like you might be, I feel like you're trying to control the process here, and your higher power is sort of redirecting you towards something that is meant for you. But see, now we see the Three of Wands in reverse on the bottom of the deck. Now that we've pulled all your cards, and that Three of Wands in reverse, again, it makes me think that you're sort of feeling defeated, and now you're feeling a lot of movement being blocked. Again, we see that Magician in reverse right on the top row. So it's like by trying to overly control a situation, you're blocking yourself. You almost need to surrender to what will be, and sort of seek out the most flexible path instead of the path of trying to be in control of everything. I don't think that that's going to serve you this week. Trying to control outcomes is going to, if anything, it's going to hold you back. And this is a time to sort of really blend the material world with the spiritual world and not be too attached to a certain outcome when it comes to whatever it is you're working on, because that could be blocking you. There's a million ways to get up the mountain, Taurus. And if you're only focused on one route, I feel like we're seeing that higher power card to remind you that there's more at work here than just you and your will. There's more at work than just you and your will. So sometimes we need to surrender, right? It's very interesting. Let's see, to close your reading, what do we need to surrender to? Or surrender completely, right? Surrender to or surrender completely, Taurus. Oh, we got two cards here. Very interesting. Surrender to what is. And that's sort of the theme of your reading, isn't it? To flow with what is instead of fighting it. That is exactly sort of the essence of your reading. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accept it exactly as it is, and that will bring you peace. This idea of surrendering to what is surrendering to your higher power, trusting it. And I see that that's a challenge for you this week because of that Hanged Man in reverse. You're trying to push your own agenda. And I get it. But we're not solely operating here. There is a higher power. There is a force that's moving us towards what's best for us, even if it's not part of our plan. The other card you received here is Surrender to Silence, which is intriguing. It says here, in quiet meditation or contemplation, let go and enter the stillness within. Silence can heal and replenish you. And that might be what you need to do. And it's interesting that you would receive surrender to silence when you've got so many swords here in the top row. And I feel like you're trying to understand a situation from a perspective that doesn't acknowledge your higher power, and that might be exactly what you need to do this week. I'm just going to tuck these over here. I can't seem to find a place for them. Let's have a peek at the bottom of the deck. It says here, surrender to the wisdom of your body. Absolutely. Listen to your body's messages about a person or a situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. And I can't help but think that that's exactly what it feels like to surrender to what is. If you're trying to force things into place and having a lot of conflicts and feelings of sort of not being able to control the emotions, and you're really trying to control outcomes in here, are you listening to the wisdom of your body? If your body starts to feel tense and anxious when you're engaged in those kind of moments, then perhaps those moments aren't serving you. And sort of surrendering to what is, accepting it, and seeing what you can gain from the current situation is very intriguing. And to go into sort of some silent contemplation, to let go and to try to release this feeling of needing to fight. There's that 5 of Wands right in the center of your reading, and surrounded by these ideas that you're just trying to force an agenda here. And there could be, again, like I said, there's a million ways up the mountain, and you might be choosing a path that leads to a dead end. And your higher power is trying to guide you up the mountain in a different way, but I feel like you're resisting that. You want to be in control with that Emperor here, this Aries energy. You're wanting to be in control, but you could be sabotaging yourself, right? With that 3 of Wands. I'm going to leave it at that for you this week, Taurus. Thank you so much for joining me. If this reading has resonated, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. If you would like a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description below. And as always, I'm sending you so much love and light, my friends. Take care.